Se deschide stream-ul. Asta o să dureze un pic, cam 30 de secunde durează. Okay, I think we are live on. Yes, and now we will prepare to make the recording and we will start. Okay, we are live. Dear friends, dear science fiction and fantasy film fans, welcome to our special session with Aurel Manea, who is a graphic artist, graphic designer.
Okay. There's
It's
a
starting to
helicopter in
run.
the background. Sorry.
Okay.
I think I've been spotted by you know who.
Okay. So again, Aurel Manea is a graphic artist, graphic designer, and a special guest, online guest at our festival. We will talk about the current state of the AI-generated images and videos. Aurel, welcome to our online panel.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Okay, please, in the beginning, say a few words about yourself.
Few words about myself. Well, I'm an artist, a technical artist, a photographer, and that's about it. I'm a tech enthusiast.
Okay, could you tell us more about the words technical artist, what they mean?
Well, technical artist, I've been working as my real job in the gaming industry. It's like a combination between a programmer and an artist, an artist that has enough technical skills to, sometimes bridge the gap between the programming department and the art, or just do visual arts in a more technical matter, having access to workflows that would otherwise be unavailable for the usual artist. And yeah, that's about it. So it's an artist that has a technical mindset, because I did the programming in the high school, and that helped me a lot.
Okay, it's a new word for me. So today I'm richer knowing the meaning of the technical artist. So AI image generation is not an it's a new thing, and it first appeared some years ago, but not many. When did you first encounter this technology in your professional life?
Well,
And what program tool did you use?
Well, my AI thing is not really in the professional field.
Okay.
I don't use it that much in my profession. I use it in as my hobby,
Okay.
and encountered it like 2.5 years ago, when it kind of became good enough to have something generated. It was all crappy, incoherent and stuff, but it was a nice thing to have a prompt, something that you have in your mind. Well, sort of, because I have this condition, psychiatric condition. It's called aphantasia, and I am unable to have visual imagery in my mind. So yeah, it's very few.
Interesting.
A small percent of people have it. It's really weird, because some people count sheep when they go to sleep. I cannot do that, because I cannot visualize a sheep or a circle or a triangle, for that matter.
And
So
you
it's
are a
weird.
visual artist. This is very interesting.
Yeah, that's why I went for photography, because it's something that's there already and I don't need to visualize it. And maybe that's one of the reason I'm technical artist, because my imagination, my visual imagination, is like symbolic. It's not imagery, it's like symbols of words. So that's how I put together things. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know how it works. But it's a really strange thing for an artist to have this condition.
Okay,
And it was 2.5 years ago. It was called back then. What was it called? It was a diffusion. It was
called diffusion.
No. I forgot. It was not stable diffusion. It was, I forgot. But it was really techy. You install it on your computer, and it was really hard to use. And you waited 10, 20 minutes for a crappy image. And I spent nights just getting a few images. Lot of sleepless nights. And it was really exciting, but very, very, very few people had access to it or knew about it. Then, I was a beta tester for Stable Diffusion,
Nice. Yes, yes.
yeah,
But
I even met the CEO. I talked to him
oh,
personally. It was really exciting times because it was still really underground and I saw it coming. And that's why I joined the beta tester, because I saw the potential and how it will change the world. Back then there was only DALI, and I also beta tested for DALI. And it was nice, DALI, but Stable Diffusion being uncensored and had a lot more potential. And we saw it that when it became public and we had like porn generated images and stuff like that, and celebrities, which for big companies they're really afraid to allow this because they want to avoid the controversy and the lawsuits. And then I was also beta tester for Midjourney, which also became a
okay.
huge hit. Not really beta tester, but I had initial access thanks to a friend on Facebook that gave me access to it. And so yeah, I saw this thing coming together way before it became a hit, like 1 year ago when ChatGPT came along and everything. Even ChatGPT, we had uh, GPT without the chat before. Didn't have the interface, the user experience that ChatGPT had, but it had the same features. So it was nice also playing with these tools before they became mainstream. And then became mainstream with the latest version of Midjourney and ChatGPT, especially for generative content. And now here we are. But having been playing around with these tools long before other people, I had an advantage, because
Yes.
you write it in your muscle memory, you know how it works behind the scenes and how to use it. Even though it evolved a lot, the tools evolved a lot, they became much easier to use. That knowledge, that know-how somehow becomes embedded, in the mind. And I'm not sure if that is the advantage I had with, the Iliescu movie, but I think it's part of it.
Okay, to make a full disclosure, first time I met Dali, and I'm not a graphic artist, but I'm a hobbyist, and I like this to try these kind of things. And I made a logo for my wife, who has a chocolate company, and made it with Dali. And after that, I started to use Midjourney, and now I'm using Midjourney. But as I said, I'm not a graphic artist, but I like to do things like this. You said that you are working with a gaming company. Could you say the name and what
No,
are
I
you doing
prefer
there?
not to involve my
Okay,
company I work with. They're
okay,
public, but I want to keep this thing aside or and also not disclosing how we use technology within the companies because
okay.
under NDAs and stuff.
So we will talk about general things about the gaming industry and the AI. Could we do this?
What's the question again?
General things about AI and the implementation of AI in gaming industry, your personal opinion?
Yes, it's really complicated because big companies are really afraid of using this because of copyright issues and legal issues, and the shadow of the legal departments are way bigger within the companies. However, for hobbies, for indie developers, they just um, embraced it instantly. So yeah, it will change the gaming, the companies. It will change the lives of artists and even the number of artists. Maybe I don't know. I'm not a Nostradamus here, but at some point, games will become generative, not even pre-made generative, but customized for each player. The
Okay.
player interaction drives the game, the story and everything. So it's gonna at some point it's gonna be a completely different medium than it is now. Yeah, I think it's been used a lot, for generate content within the game, like posters, like generate character designs and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure gaming companies don't want to talk about it, and it's somehow in the gray area, but I'm pretty sure it's used a lot. But you have, policies like Steam does not allow games that use generative content.
Okay.
It's really impossible to tell that is generative content. So this really doesn't really matter.
My opinion is that AI tools are just tools for now, and they can help you as an artist and a professional in the field to do things. What are the advantages of AI tools to generate images and videos? It's in the time that is shorter, or what kind of advantages do you think they bring to the industry?
Well, first of all, it's incredible speeds in iteration and brainstorming. You can find ideas that work a lot faster because it used to take like weeks for getting a base idea, and then it's not what we ask for. You can have like a base idea, and based on that idea, to have multiple art directions, variations for that particular idea, and stuff like that. In my field of doing special effects or stuff, I can generate sprites for special effects faster without the need to go uh, to the artist or stuff like that. I use it for even helping me with the editors with the tools I use, because I don't need to search Google for an answer. Those large language models know a lot about the tools, and they can help you answer questions. How do I do this? What word in the menu? Give me some ideas for this. So basically, it increases the speed a lot for whoever learns how to use these tools. Even in my day-to-day life, like talking with people, I can, find arguments against statements, analyze an article, analyze a reply from somebody, and find me the logical fallacies within these arguments. Show me how it is manipulative, how what is wrong with it, what's wrong with the personality of the person talking, and it helps me in just interacting with people. It's sort of like delegating part of my brain power, like we do with GPS. We don't have the 3D navigational skills that we used to have. We have the GPS now, and we delegate it. We have the calculator. We no longer do the calculation mentally. We invented the calculator, and it does that for you. So part of the cognitive abilities we will have to navigate with the dangers involved, of course,
That
relying on of
that
course,
was
there
the
are huge dangers.
That was the question, the following question about it, because you know the term hallucinations related to AI. Aren't you not afraid when you put the AI to analyze some text or a person and give a
Uh,
suggestion about the personality that it will not hallucinate?
well, you can say that about human beings also, because part of what we say is just hallucination. It's just bullshit. Yeah. So the hallucinations are getting smaller within large language models. Like OpenAI just released the GPT-01, it's called now,
Yes,
which is
yes.
lower, but it's much better at reasoning than it used to be. So the hallucinations are getting fewer and fewer, and the language, the model is getting better. But the idea is, don't do anything critical. Rely on AIs for something
Correct.
critical that has implications, real life implications. Always double check if it's important. Other than that, using it in your daily life, you just take the hallucinations for granted. And if it doesn't work, you see it doesn't work. If I try to do something and it doesn't work, it's just doesn't work. If it does it does a wrong answer, somebody can correct me on that. And I don't know. I just take it for granted for most of the time.
Thank
But
you
today
for
it's really thin ice we're walking on here regarding
yes.
everything.
Yes. When we are talking about image generated by AI, it's simple. It's just image. You can generate it, play with it. Okay. But you became, let's say, famous with a video about Ion Iliescu, which for the foreign listeners and viewers, it's a very important person in the political life in Romania just after the revolution. He was even the president of Romania. You produced two videos, uh, kind of I don't know how to. They are very complex, so I can't put them in a category to say only it's comic or it's science fiction. It's a complex work, I say, and
Social
uh,
commentary also, the last one shows that more it's not just fantasy.
yes,
It's
but the question was in this case of the video production, you need many tools. You generated with AI the voice of Iliescu, which is quite surprisingly good, and you must generate motions and so on. What tools do you need? Could you tell us what tools do you employed when
uh
doing these videos?
there's so many tools.
Yes,
I
please
don't
make a list.
remember, and I it's you know, you put a lot of effort in finding the tools and knowing how to use them, and disclosing the artist tools is quite tricky. But what I can tell you, there is no perfect tool for the job. Based on the on my intent and what I need to do, I need the important thing is not knowing the new tools, but knowing how to find the tools, knowing where you need to look, knowing the landscape of the AI tools. So, for example, there's multiple tools for generating videos. Some of them, like the usual workflow is like this: you generate base images. If it's a
Okay,
public person like Trump or Obama, you may find it in public models already trained, like
okay,
Flux. I'm using Flux, and now Elon Musk released Grok, which also
yes.
is uncensored, and you can do images with famous persons. But it's a really tricky thing, because most companies, like I said, are afraid of this. So if you don't find that famous person, is not famous, or it's just myself, because I also included myself there, you need to train a model based on that person. So you need to find proper images of the face of the person in different lighting, different scenarios. So the AI does not train part of the background as the concept of the person. So it needs to have that person in different scenarios. And you train the model. Like I said, I am using Flux, which is a very recent open source model. It's great. It's much better than Midjourney in most aspects, but it's not perfect. So I use Midjourney with Flux. Some of them it's better with Flux, some of them better with Midjourney, but these are my base tools I use. I don't use ChatGPT because it's really limited in styles, and you cannot do photographic styles and stuff like that. So after that, you use like a video model. There's plenty of them, and now the Chinese companies, if you use Translate, there's a lot of recent ones that are better than
This
something
is an
like
interesting information.
Luma. Yeah,
Luma, yes.
don't search for the mainstream models. You'll have you search for it, and Google shows you this sponsored of pseudo sponsored things. You need to know the underground world. You need to know the persons that be subscribed to certain persons on YouTube, to find out what is going on there, and find the best tools that are up to date, and they do the job best. Because we used to have Luma, and there's so much hype around the Sora, which does not seem to come along this century. Uh, and so I used multiple sites for this. Some of them work best without having like a person that needs to be coherent in time. The Western ones don't seem to do a good job. I put Iliescu there, and then the first frame is with Iliescu, and then it becomes a whole different person that kind of
Yes.
something in
Consistency
common.
is a big problem in the
Yeah,
AI.
consistency is the huge problem, and that's the biggest problem. Consistency within a frame, a shot, and above all, between shots, having the same. So you need to have a mindset of working with having ideas. The ideas that have to come to your mind will never have to be impossible to do. So you need to work a lot with these tools, so you don't get ideas that are improbable. So I don't get
Yes.
ideas that are not doable. Most people ask me how I have this idea with this. Yeah, but it just doesn't work, because AI cannot do that. I cannot have the same character consistent across the screen. The age will differ, the hair will differ, the shot will differ. So the way you do these movies is you don't need that. it cuts across time, you know, these different hats, different parts. So yeah, you need to work within the limitations, as with any tool, you know,
Okay.
you don't go beyond what it can do.
This was one question about the consistency, and you addressed it. The other one was about iterations. Every person who works with AI generated images know that you must make changes after changes after changes. How hard is to make this on a video generating tool in comparison comparing with the normal 2D AI generated images?
Well, there's certain iteration that you can do within the same image, you know, have some changes there. But if you iterate a lot, then the whole image becomes something different. So also you need to work with this and accept that at some point it's gonna be a different scene, and you need to always adapt. For example, for my last movie, the scenery was never written. It was written as I went. I came up with idea based on what it generated. There's a lot of things that work in the movies because of artifacts. You know, we have in the second movie you have a floating microphone that was not intended, but it works there because it's in the future. So you had a
Yes.
floating microphone and stuff like that. You need to use whatever it gives you and find different way to have a scenario. You know. So I changed the text a lot. I iterated each part of the text. I had like 10, 20 iteration at it because I didn't like the voice, the accents. And it to me, it's still like crap. Most user is not, but you know, being on the
Yes.
other side, you're never really satisfied with anything you do. But it's, you know, it's good enough. I can maybe do a different, newer version with fixing some stuff, but maybe I should concentrate on making something new. So
Uh, you
iteration is a huge part, and that's what takes the most time because you don't really work like drawing, constantly drawing. You like on one tab of this, you're doing the voice, on the other is generating the video, and on the other is generating the text, and you go between them and you wait 5 minutes for the video to generate. So it's different kind of working. It's a lot of waiting and hoping for the best.
You worked, as you said, with these models from their beginning when they were kind of underground with these AI tools. Could you tell us how do you see the development of these tools in the near future? They are developing very fast.
Well, I think the exponential curve is the base word for this. The way they evolved, it's exponentially. You know what you had, what took 1 year to get to point I to point B. Now it's 6 months, and then it's 3 months and 2 months, and before you know it, our brain just explodes with the. I mean, being in this, being buried deep within the AI world, and all my feeds are AI based. You know, things change from day to day. Not for
Yes.
most people, they see updates at months, but now something that worked yesterday is no longer useful here. So even learning workflows, you know, you work a lot on learning how to do like certain type of characters, and then you here comes a model that all that work you did, it's pointless now because it's so you don't need to invest a lot of time in doing things that you know are gonna be
Obsolete.
a lot of people try, no, I need to learn this, I need to pay for tutorials, I need to be there. No, you just pay a lot of money for nothing. It's not going to be useful. Learn how to adapt. That's more
Okay.
important. Don't learn how to do stuff. Learn how to learn stuff, you know?
Okay.
It's I think that's what, you know, education will have to be like. You don't learn stuff, you learn how to learn. That's more important. Learn how to adapt. Adaptation is the most important thing humanity will have to get used to.
And now, of course, as always, a personal opinion, taking into consideration the fast pace of the development of these tools, When do you think we will see a feature film with which is virtually generated by AI with actors made from a script using only AI? So give the script to the AI, a few,
Well,
and make a film with actors.
we have the first fully featured film made with a script made completely by ChatGPT already. You can make films with generated actors, but without the consistency. You know,
Okay,
you can train models on certain characters and have consistent characters, but you will not have consistent scenes. But you'll
okay,
have the same base character if you train it with that character. So there's certain consistency you can get if you know how to do. But uh, probably very soon, because Hollywood works in parallel. It
okay.
doesn't work with the main tools we used. It develops its own tools.
Its own truth, yes.
It makes contracts with big companies to help them develop their own workflow. So Hollywood at some point will just, hire all the script writers and actors and probably get the rights, which is a scary part thing. Also, getting the rights for the images of actor. You sign this contract, we just use your image, your voice, and out you go.
Yes,
And
yes.
there's a very nice sci-fi half video, half animated movie 10 years ago. It was called The Congress. If you have not
No,
seen
no.
it and you're a sci-fi
I will
enthusiast, you should
try to
really
find
see it.
it.
It's from the what was the name of the director? He made Waltz with Bashir. If you saw
Oh,
it, you haven't seen
no,
it also.
no.
No, but see the Congress because it foresaw a lot of things that are happening now today with actors, with Hollywood, with us. Because we're getting less real and more avatars. Everybody is whoever he
Okay.
wants to be in the online world, and it's basically what's happening today, but being foresaw 10 years ago. So what was the question? Yeah, probably not very soon. Very soon. It's hard. Emad, the guy who released Stable Diffusion, he said 1.5 years ago that it's gonna be 3 years before people will make 3, 4 years before people will make their own fully featured films. And it took 1 year and something to have this kind of level for videos, that I can make a short with EDS
Yes.
and it works. So it only took 1 year. And probably he may be right. In 1.5 year, 2.5 years from now, it will be available if he foresaw it um properly.
My question was in the context of the independent film producer, a guy from the basement or in the garage who wants to have not, of course, not known actors in his movie, but generated actors, and wants to make a film, has an idea, and maybe we will see the next George Lucas arrive from this kind of independent artist who will have these tools. That was the question. And when we will see these open tools, so open to the public, not the models that are working the industry, cinematography, cinema industry now. But
Uh,
you answered the question.
Yes, but also the question is kind of loaded because you kind of assume that the cinema landscape is gonna be similar to what we had in the last 100 years, where consistency and coherence is part of the movie. It may be just wild hallucination dreams, and that's what
Okay,
you want.
interesting opinion.
Yeah, it's just based on assumptions, so it's not necessarily be like it was before. I mean,
Okay.
everything changes. The medium changes, the ideas change. So I don't know what the future brings, but the way I see it now is just wild ideas that work within the constraints of the medium, but also they it's you know you can have any guy with a wild imagination having been able to do this well before you had artists that knew the craftsmanship very well, but they did not have the imagination. So right now it's really like a war, between the old artists that don't choose not to adapt, and the ones that, and the AI guys that are very creative, but now have the tools to do this. And also the issue of, the models being trained on existing imagery of artists. So I think the artists that those models were trained as need to be compensated, because they did not work without their involvement in it. So they need to be compensated. Also, the companies make like a huge amount of money based on that. So I
Okay, and
forgot what the original question was.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter because we will go to the next one. And a personal question now: do you feel that your status as a graphic designer and artist is threatened because now anyone can generate images and videos using
If
AI?
I feel threatened, if I fear it, I don't really. I'm not used to the feeling of fear, as whatever the future brings. My job is probably threatened. Most jobs that are computers and computers are threatened. Most jobs are threatened. Programmers that built these models, they're threatened. Programming is one of the main things that can be, destroyed, can be obsolete, because you will have natural language programming. We had these very complex languages to talk with the machines. Then these languages based from started from base instruction on the processor, logical gates, and I don't know, register. I don't know. I'm not into base programming languages. They became more natural. The syntax is more understandable. You have the if then else syntax, and then it just goes to be more natural. So it's like programming with words now, you know. But the craft machine of the programming, the one that needed a lot of skills to learn the syntax, it's threatened. I'm threatened, but I need to adapt. So I always adapted. I just switched technology. I embraced any new technology that came along, because I don't fear technology at all, and I love it. If I have new tools to bring an idea together, well, fine with me.
Okay, now let's think from the point of view of the independent graphic artist. Okay, there are so many images and films on the internet now with AI, many more, generated by enthusiasts and hobbyists and wannabe graphic artists.
Okay.
In this huge quantity that is online, how can an artist stand apart and present its work with efficiency in order to be seen? Uh,
Be more
your
creative than the
your
rest.
opinion.
Just be above, because what 2 years ago was considered excellent on the old tools and all and now it's like the standard, So, but that just involves setting new standards, It doesn't really matter. Whatever it's the average, you can go above the average.
Okay.
What they can do, what the hell do I know what they can do? Just be find the ways to be above the average. It's really hard, it's not easy. But from my point of view, because like again, I'm flooded with the AI imagery and videos, 99% are just crap. Is
Okay.
So when I see something of value, I share it on my Facebook. It instantly pops into mind. It's not that often, and it tends to go viral for some reason. But even with viral things, it's not, the virality of it is not a proper quantifier for
For value.
value. I think value comes when you yourself, you do something and you're excited for it, or in my case, laugh for hours at whatever I did there, because it's also funny to myself. If you do a meme, a visual meme or video meme, and you don't laugh yourself, you, it's not really valuable. So I think that's one way to know you did something good, even if it goes viral or not. It's virality is sometimes just randomness, and success. It's randomness. A lot of it is random. If you do look at the best-selling games on various platforms, most of them are crap, and yeah, it's part of the times we live in.
Okay, now in the current time, today, an AI needs a human to guide it, to make some images, to make a movie. Do you think that in the future the AI will generate images and files just because it feels like doing them from self-initiative? Will it become an AI, a graphic artist?
It can be right now. You can tell ChatGPT generate a great script, so it can generate a great description for an image, and we can just automate this process. You said this hour generate this, then send to Mid Journey, generate based on this, and it can do that yourself, uh, do that himself. But it actually still needs this input to tell,
Yes, the first input is
generate.
yourself. But
Yeah,
let's say you have a personal AI, and you in one morning get up, hi, George or whatever, and he says, "Hey, tonight I thought about an image that I want to present you." Do you think that it will be possible?
well, it's not sentience we're talking necessarily about here, but adapting these models to do this. I think it can be done right now. Probably companies just did not release this kind of features. It's not something impossible. You just need to make it so it doesn't need the input to answer to it. And I think the new models from OpenAI will be able to do this, because everybody is fighting now for personal assistance.
Okay.
The personal assistants need to also, I think the major fights in advertising and politics will not be for the minds of the people like it was before. It's going to be for the hearts of the people. They need to find the weak spots within your soul and drive advertising based what you feel, or what you feel for your personal assistant. That's how I see the future. Right now, it's propaganda and advertising, everything. It fights for your mind, but yeah, so this personal assistants will have to be able to do this, wake you up in the morning and, act like real persons, like real girlfriends, like
Okay.
her or stuff like that, because people will totally be in love with their personal assistant, because, well, that's what humans are like. They anthropomorphize, things and have feelings for them.
Okay. Can you disclose your next project using AI tools?
I really would disclose it if I had any idea, but usually it's like I have dinner or something, and I have an idea, so I start instantly working on that idea, but I never think about what I'm gonna do next. No, it's not. It's I'm kind of a spontaneous person. I don't plan for things. I don't plan for the next day or my next year. It's just whatever the future brings. I'll walk that bridge when I get to it. I'll
Okay.
cross that bridge when I get to it.
And now the last question. What are your recommendations to our young audience that want to be a graphic artist or a graphic designer?
Be a graphic artist or graphic designer, but how you do that, I'm, I'm not sure that job will exist. I'm
Okay.
not sure that a lawyer will exist per se. I'm not sure any of these things that people want to learn will exist. But if you want to be the kind of person that has ideas and want to materialize them, learn how to materialize them, because it doesn't matter what you are, a graphic artist or whatever. You will be able to do that, have your own ideas come to life. Now, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the AIs will be able to do this also, but it shouldn't matter to you because you have your own personality, you have your own ideas. Nothing will change that. Nothing will take that away. For example, like I said, I'm a photographer, and the aesthetics of photography, landscape photography, uh, was huge part of it, the post-processing, and now any AI can do that instantly. Another moment I was also famous was when I was a beta tester for Stable Diffusion, and it was able to generate photorealistic landscape photography, and Petapixel picked up on that, and there were also a lot of articles. But it doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, the aesthetic parts, the over processing kind of disappeared, but it went back to the basics of photography. Photography is like capturing reality, capturing actual moments, actual memory, actual people. So it's not threatened by this. So I'm not personally, the people should not be threatened. The jobs might be threatened, but not their
Okay.
expression capabilities. They will able to express themselves much more easily. And for people that want to become a graphic artist, where at this point you can easily be a graphic artist and use AI, incorporate AI in your workflow and paint over whatever, get base ideas and stuff. And people are doing that to the most extent, except the most conservative artists, which there's these groups, artists against generative AI. And if you mention that you kind of used for this, you're just banned from the group. Like I was watching because I also am fascinated with the psychology of people in general and how they react to technology, and finding common things between the now and the industrial era revolution, and what were they called,
Ludists.
yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of common things with that age. And yeah, except the most conservative artists that want everything to burn, people are adapting. But that's for now, you know. The future in 1 year, when I say the future in 1 year, it may not look the same. You will be able to just word-based, or even, thought to image, if we have neural implants.
Yes.
This may take a while, but that will be the future. Have an idea, just it's there.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
Yeah, as for suggestion, and be playful. I think that's the most important. Just play. Life should be about play, not being mad and conservative and being always frustrated. Play around with whatever you have in front of you and enjoy it, because you only have today.
Okay. Thank you for a very enjoyable discussion we had.
No problem.
I hope we will see each other face to face, because you're a very interesting person. Maybe I will
Thank you
buy
very
you a
much.
beer or something that you
If
like.
you know where to look and don't look in the environment, you'll see a lot of talented artists that don't get the success they needed. So you can just join groups, AI groups, and see their great work that never gets the recognition it needs. And the world is full of it today.
Thank you again.
No
See
problem.
you. Bye
See
bye.
you. Bye bye.